What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Snake Season podcast. We got our Worlds 2019 special edition of the podcast. Sorry, it's been a while since we done one. I don't really have too many excuses for that. I don't want to bore you guys with our excuses, but I will say that we did have one. We did have one planned, and it was going to be recorded with Bobby, but then Shadows couldn't come, and then I couldn't come, and it was just we ended up not doing it, and then me and Shadows just got lazy, basically.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be going over. We're going to be not just one topic today. There's going to be a couple topics. We're going to start out with an interview with Shadows. He was at LAN here recently. I'm sure you guys know that. And then we're going to go into some of our world's predictions. So yeah, how are you doing, Shadows?
I'm doing well, man. I came back not that long ago, and just kind of getting back into things.
All right. Let's hop into some of these questions. So before we started recording, I actually went on Twitter and I asked if anyone had any questions for Shadows about LAN.
Jeez, yeah.
And we're gonna start off with some of these because they're fun. All right, so we got Hakumba Makarna, Big Jared Blythe saying,
yep.
Yeah, Big Blythe. Yeah, hey Snake Nose, why was your hairline whack at LAN?
Oh, okay. So just cut my hair the day before I went. As to why I was messed up, I don't know, dude. I put some hairspray and stuff. I was experimenting a bit. Didn't go terribly, but now that my hair's kind of growing a little bit more, it's at the ideal spot. It was a little bit too short, but I don't know, man. It was all right, dude.
I don't think your hairline was whack at LAN. Blythe is a bully.
Good.
He also said, how many e-girls got the snake at LAN? Thanks. Sincerely, Big Boy Blythe.
4,000. No more,
Damn,
no less.
that's some hoe shit. All right, so thanks,
thank you, Jared Blythe.
Big Blythe, for the question. Austin Blaze asked a lot of questions. I'm not gonna go into all of these because, yeah, I mean some of these are just boring. Actually, this one's kind of important. Do you dip your pizza in anything?
No, I do not. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, people who dip their pizza in ranch.
Ew.
Yeah. Did you get to meet Hindu Man or F-Dot?
I did. I didn't really talk to Hindu Man, but I talked to F-Dot. He came in when we were practicing the day before. You have some time to just kind of go in, get your controller bindings in and stuff, because you need to implement all of that. And F-Dot came in, said what's up, super cool guy. We didn't really talk to Hindu. I think there was a time we could have. It just, he was doing stuff. We probably could have talked to him a bit, but we didn't really want to bother him. I didn't know what he was doing, and if he had to do something at the time. So,
Yeah, they are working after all.
Yep.
What is your favorite snake?
Fox snakes. Just like them. I don't know. I felt a couple of snakes. I like pythons too. Really anything that's not poisonous, I can, deal with.
He's got who does you think will win Worlds, but we're gonna go over that later.
Yep.
And was the plane ride fun? Which I'm kind of interested. Have you flew before, or is this your first time flying?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
So I went from Connecticut, well, actually New York, but so it was about 2.5 hours or so to Atlanta. I mean, it was pretty nice. It was easy. When I go on plane rides, they're usually over to Europe. Those are longer. Those kind of freak me out because I'm going over water, but I don't know. If I'm not going over some ocean, I'm really not stressing about them. So it was, it was a quick, easy thing.
All right. So I'm gonna go into some of my questions now. These are all specifically about LAN. So I mean, obviously, I talked to you a little bit beforehand because we talk. But you had some worries about nerves before going. I kind of wonder what nerves were like playing. Did you have the nerves? How bad were they? Who do you think they affected the most?
So that's there's a lot of layers to that. So I mean, way before talking about CC years ago, there's always some nerve to any, you're always going to be a little bit nervous when it comes to any kind of competition, even in scrims, and that's more or less with people. It really just depends on how you view that competition. But there's always a pressure to do well, you know what I mean? And that can definitely motivate you to do better, but it can also really cripple you. And that's always been a big problem of mine. I've kind of, gotten more used to it after I scrimmed more and played in the SCL and whatnot. But especially, I remember going into SCL initially and going into CCs and like the placement thing for SCL. There was a lot of there was just a lot of worrying, right? And mind you, that's all from the comfort of your home. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You're doing your own thing, and even then, there's like in those high stake games when we had versus Nemesis, if we weren't doing well early game, or even if we were doing well early game, it would have to be like 10, 15 minutes once I'm really kind of in the flow of the game. And then I start to lose those nerves. And that's from a home standpoint. So definitely going to LAN, that was really, it was exciting, but it was also a little scary, especially when, you're walking around, you see all these pro players and stuff, and you're like the underdogs. When we played in the league, we weren't necessarily the best team. We were considered
Yeah.
under Nemesis by most people, but we definitely weren't the
Even
fourth
at LAN,
seeded
I feel
team.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like most people had you guys losing to
hmm
rival.
And even then, even if we managed to beat rival, you have all these guys who are, you know what I mean, all these SML, SPL
Yeah.
teams and stuff. So it was just, a little nuts to see all that. And I think it definitely hurt us in the first game. I think it hurt all five of us. I think the person who was probably the least nervous, well, I don't know. It's hard to tell because, especially game one, none of us did great. Um,
It seemed like Priv was the least nervous, but I'm not sure. Who do you?
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, he's super passionate. He really cares.
Yeah.
I don't know if that ended up, making him nervous at all. I don't really think he was as much. He just, I think he cared the most in terms of winning. We all really cared, but I think he cared the most. I feel like I was probably the most nervous, but at least in the first game. Second game, I kind of got my stride going. I was on something I had practiced a little more. I played the Yorm first pick. I had played the character, I had practiced the character, but they had a comp that was definitely pretty strong against me, and then I got blooded and stuff. So all those things
Tough.
kind of. I mean, you also the other thing is you're in a studio, right? You're with a bunch of people, and I was thankful that we had a really good team environment, so I wasn't really nervous about being around them. You know what I mean, and them raging or something. But you see rival in the booths, parallel to you guys, so you're like looking at them while you're playing and stuff, and I don't know. I mean, it's stressful, right?
Hmm.
Especially since you want to win.
Yeah, I can see that. So, what was it like? Okay, so we actually talked a little bit before you went to
hmm
LAN, and actually, so before we recorded the first Snake Season podcast, we were talking about you because you had just beaten Nemesis for the first time
Yeah,
back then, and we were talking about like your possibility of going your LAN. And you were like, I don't know, dude. It might be a little like awkward meeting my teammates at first.
yeah.
Did you? What was it like meeting your teammates at first? Did you guys kind of like just vibe right away, or was there a little bit of like awkwardness, shyness in there? Like, what was it like?
So, well, here's the thing. So that was with a different roster to an extent, right? You had a
Yeah,
different
there's two
carry,
different
you had a
players.
different jungler yet. So I don't know. I think I was a little bit nervous, but that was more so just because I was coming with my dad. I was more nervous about
Oh
how that
yeah,
would have
yeah.
worked. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But no, I don't know. I mean, like, so like they told me where to meet them because they were all there because they had all gotten there first, right, before me. And so they were at
Hmm.
the studios and like they told me where to go and stuff. And I was with my dad, and like he left like 2 minutes after. He just wanted to like meet them, you know what I mean? And then we went to go do our own things. But
Yeah.
like I remember I was like nervous, and we like went out to the parking lot. And I just saw fucking Bo Dilla's head pop out from like behind the door. I knew it really wasn't that serious. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
also the thing is, it's not like these are intimidating people. Like Eddie's like 5'2",
Right.
Bo's like 5'3". I don't know. It wasn't
And he's
as
like
it was actually
5'2"
a
and
lot
he's
of
wearing a
fun.
hat with a
Yeah,
wheel on top of
little spinner hat. Yeah, I know.
it.
So
Spinner hat.
and then like the hires employees, they're all super chill. So I like
Oh
once
yeah,
I
they're
kind of
cool
met
people.
everybody, I wasn't really worried about anything in terms of like meeting them. It wasn't
Awkwardness.
awkward at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I know you were
hmm
slightly worried about that, but like I was like, dude, it's probably not going to be awkward at all.
Yep.
Um, Sorry. So you just mentioned Father Snake. So Father
Yep.
Snake was at LAN.
Yep.
And you're 15, so it makes sense. He kind
Yeah.
of has to fly with you and everything, and he
hmm
wanted to be there, of course. Um, what was that like for him? Did he have any opinions on the whole
Yeah.
land thing?
So my dad's definitely not somebody who is into this kind of stuff. Anything with video games.
Boomer
I
shit.
mean, yeah,
Boomer shit.
yeah, exactly. So, and from him seeing, well, just because whenever I'd scream and stuff, he didn't understand why I wouldn't go down and go talk to them or something if they wanted to go do something. Because I'm in screams, I'm talking, I'm ignoring everybody else. And they wouldn't get
Right.
that. And I'd play games, I'd stream whatever, and they would always just bother me and whatever. And not really see the point of what I was doing. I would tell them about, yeah, I'm playing on these Sundays for, SC, you know what I mean? I would be playing on these Sundays for scrims, playing these games for SCL, and they would
Right.
just see it as like, oh, I'm just there's better things to put my time to, right? So he definitely had, I guess you could say, a pessimistic outlook. Not a pessimistic outlook, but he didn't
So,
expect anything
right.
positive to come out of it. He was just going with me more so for the fact that he felt obligated to, right? So we went, and he didn't actually come with me into the studio when we played, but he watched it with like my brother and stuff, from like Twitch, right?
Wait. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Was your brother at land too?
no, 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 but
Okay, okay.
he plays Smite, so he
Yeah.
he knew all about all that. And my mom watched it and stuff like that. And like again, none of them understand that game except my brother, and he didn't really explain it to them because you can't explain Smite to somebody who's never played video games, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just can't. I mean, you can, but not in a fast, efficient way. So it was cool though. I think like when he saw that I was playing, and then the casters were talking about me and whatnot, and just
Yeah.
all of us, and then he met my teammates and realized, they weren't, because there's a lot of stereotypes where like everyone on the internet's like a drug addict or some bullshit, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
once he got over those boomer stereotypes,. Things were going well. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think he
Was there any
definitely
like
like understands the
conversation
door.
on the way back? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. So there was. So I mean, he's like a lot more like supportive of it now. I remember seeing stuff like that when I would watch, like way back in the day when it was like Cognitive Prime and stuff for Smite. I
yeah,
remember like F Dot said, yeah, he talked to some of those like players' parents because they didn't understand it, and then like when they all came back from LAN, things were a lot better. You know what I mean? And like I
yeah,
kind of noticed that too. Like they're a lot more supportive of it. They definitely still want me to be doing other stuff, but it's not like it's a little more tolerant now, I guess.
hmm
You know.
yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next question. That's interesting though.
Hmm.
So let me see. Who did you guys scrim at land? Did you guys scrim anyone or no?
Not really. No, we just kind of we practiced our starts and stuff.
Uh,
We did that kind of
boo.
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Um, so obviously you guys lost 2-0 to Rival. The second game was pretty close. What was it, like a 50-minute
Yeah.
slapper?
Hmm.
You guys kind of threw at Fire Giant.
Yes, sir.
That's tough.
Yeah.
What were vibes like immediately after the loss? Like, are you guys still talking? Was someone
Hmm.
mad? Were you
So
guys sad?
losing really, really sucks, right?
Hmm. Especially like
Nobody
when it's
wants to
then the
lose.
game is that important.
Exactly.
Like,
So
yeah,
it was definitely really unfortunate that we lost, especially when had we not made such a poor fire call, um, we probably would have won that game. Now, I don't personally, even if we won that game, I don't think we would have won the set, but it would have just been nice to have taken a game off of them, right?
yeah,
Um, because I can see from Rivals' perspective, they lose that game. I feel like it's pretty obvious on what they need to fix. They fix
yeah,
that, they win, right? But even then, it definitely sucked. We were all like a little demoralized and stuff. We were all definitely sad about it, but there wasn't a toxic vibe. There wasn't a blame vibe, and that's a good thing about this team, and that's one reason why I really wasn't that nervous about meeting them because I know these are good people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody gets toxic and ranked, and you can see conviction spamming or priv spamming or even me spamming and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, we understand, like, everyone has bad games, and with the pressure and stuff, none of us have ever been to something like that. we had high hopes, but we didn't have high expectations. You know what I mean? We were like,
Yeah.
okay, let's come in, let's play. Either way, we're happy because we're still making some money out of it. We're still able to go. You know what I mean? So that
Hmm.
was really what mattered to us. Beating them and just kind of proving to people that we could make it was more of what it was for us.
Right. So I actually just watched the SCL roll queue,
Hmm.
and Bobby had some hype words to say about you, and then Rapio called you like a coast, a young coast.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? A strong mechanical
Um,
player, a kid can carry a team.
I mean, look, that's exciting because back I was always somebody who would like really, and I still to this day, I always cared about opinions that people gave me and whatnot, and like a list
Yeah.
season and all that bullshit.
I,
And
I overly care about this season. Like I see it, and if I
yeah,
don't if
it's
I don't
just
get put on the
important.
list, I'm like, why didn't they think of me? And if I like really low on the list, like below
Hmm.
someone I don't think I should, it kind of motivates me
Yeah,
in a way.
it does. It is. So, and it can also be discouraging, but regardless, this stuff was all super. Um, it was really important to me to see that. That was really motivating because I remember. And this is no shot at Bobby. This is just something that I remember that was funny to me. Way back in the day, and this is good reasoning on him. He was like he said this thing. He was like, DM me for a rating on like your skill, and it was like I was either 1 to 100 or 1 to 10. I don't really remember.
Hmm.
Um, and he gave me a 7. He gave me a C minus.
That's tough, bro.
So
That's
yeah,
tough.
I was like shit, and this was probably like season 5. So like I definitely wasn't great, but I wasn't terrible. This was early season 5. This was like before DPR and XCL and stuff. I wasn't great by no means, but like I was like, damn, this guy thinks I fucking suck. You know what I mean? So I was like, shit. So I really got to fix that. And I don't really play against Hype Unit like that. You know what I mean? We played
Yeah.
against them sometimes, but more recently I haven't. I've never played against Rapio and stuff. So just to see these people like who I respect for sure, because even though Rival was our opposition, I mean Rapio is one of my favorite SCL players to watch when it comes to these tournaments. I've always been a fan of him. Fly as well. And then I love everyone on Hype Unit. I think they're all beasts. So to see them like kind of like acknowledge me, and even if obviously it wasn't the biggest deal in the world, it was still important to me just to see that like the things I'm doing aren't going unnoticed. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
that's cool to see.
Actually, now that I think about it, so like the pregame interviews, right?
Yep.
When I forgot who it was on Rival that was doing the pregame interview, but he mentioned that he
Was
was in one of
Rapio?
your streams. He was in one
Oh,
of your
oh,
streams,
pregame that
and
was
someone
Dinosaur. Yep.
yeah, he was saying that one of you were saying that they were all free, or so. Who was that?
And so I hadn't streamed in a very long time. Like I streamed
He
today,
didn't say it
but
was yours. He said it was one of your team's stream. He was in one of your
it's probably
streams, and he was
Conviction.
saying you guys were free. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't
Actually,
know if
it was
somebody's
probably
okay.
jokes, but
I can only speak for myself, right? Because I don't know what they said, but I mean, like we always joked about it, like, yeah, man, this is so free and shit. Because, but like, it wasn't. We didn't. Nobody, none of us genuinely. At least, I don't think any of us genuinely did. I know I didn't. I felt, you know what I mean. Like I felt like we could win. I didn't think it'd be free. I think it was probably just sort of like a morale type of thing. Like, yeah, man, this is free. These guys suck. Obviously not the case, but it's
yeah.
just to hype yourself up in the moment. I mean, I didn't go up to Rival after we lost and I was like, nah, you guys are shit. Like, that just didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Nah,
And
you
that wouldn't
guys
have
are
happened if we
shit.
won. That definitely wouldn't have happened if we won. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
All right. I have
yeah.
one last question that I just
Hmm.
forgot. Crap. Um, I guess we should just go into the predictions then, because I had one last question, but I cannot remember it to save my life. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm
Sure.
pulling up the
If
bracket
you remember it,
right.
just, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I do want to give a quick shout out though. Congratulations to Hype Unit for winning
Yeah.
the console worlds. Um, you know, congratulations on
Hmm.
your world championship. It's kind of expected.
It was.
Rival actually put up a decent fight. I was surprised. I did
Yeah.
not expect that to go to a final game.
Yeah, no.
Um,
If they did well.
and also big shout out to Hype Unit for making it as far as they did in the PC bracket, putting on the show
Hmm.
for the console boys. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to SK and Sanguine for qualifying for Worlds. So yeah,
Hmm.
shout outs to those guys. And so yeah, quarterfinals is a best of three. Do you want to
Yep.
go into your predictions between Rival and Sanguine?
Yeah. So I really want Sanguine to win, but I don't think they will. Um,
Okay.
these guys, in my opinion, are the most. I don't know. Like Sanguine, there's just something about Sanguine. It's probably because they're all
They
Latin
have
and
so
they're
much
super
passion.
loud. Yeah, they're
They have
so.
so much passion.
I mean, look, I think all of these teams definitely want to win, without a doubt. And I'm not here to say Sanguine wants to win more than others because they're just more like outgoing, I think, than most players. So it's hard to
Yeah.
tell, you know what I mean? But I don't know, Sanguine's energy is just so cool, and especially seeing Haddix, who has everybody knows is super good, but he wasn't like on an SML team, at least recently, or on an SPL team, which he should have been. To see him like being kind of like more formally acknowledges that, and even though like Sanguine is definitely enabling him to do well, he's still showing that he's a really good player and he deserves to be in the SPL.
In the
Or
listen-ins, I was kind of noticing that um, Sanguine are speaking in Spanish, right, or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's Spanish, right?
yeah.
Um,
So I mean, they can speak English, but I mean,
I mean, is
I
there like a
know that
language barrier there? Like, is Haddix kind of like
probably.
struggling to understand
I mean,
call
well,
outs
here's the
because they're
thing.
speaking in
I've,
Spanish?
yeah, I've watched. I mean, like, here's the thing, because they're all saying the gods the same. They're just going to enunciate it differently. So all the gods sound like, you know what I mean. Like, they're still going to say Thor. They're just going to say with its accent because they're not saying like, they're not translating that.
Right.
They're probably, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I don't think it's that bad. I think. Because they can all speak English. So if Panaton was like, "Yeah, I'm ganking," he'll just say that. But I think in team fights, like they're more comfortable with speaking that, so they just know it. And as a solo, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like, as somebody starts, here's the thing: even whenever it's speaking English, people start yelling. You don't even know what's going on, but you just kind of autopilot. So that's probably what
Yeah.
happened a lot of the time. I don't think there was like a. I don't think that was too big of a deal. I mean, maybe it was, but I really don't think because they won. You know what I mean? Alex was doing
Yeah.
well, so I don't think it was a big deal.
Yeah,
Um,
I have Rival
yeah.
winning this 2-0. Uh I think Sanguine looked really good, and I think that they did not look really good against SK though. So
Uh huh.
uh
So
I think the
yeah.
Rival's better than SK.
Okay.
I think
That's
that
fair.
Rival pulled that
Yeah.
out at 2-0.
I
Unless
think.
you never know,
Yeah.
because if PBM is not feeling himself like he was, or they get tilted like they did against our Armada, that could go Sanguine. I would not be surprised. Like if Sanguine won that set, like I would be like, wow, that's a big upset because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Rival has lost an SML team before in an important
Yeah.
situation, so
I do
kind
feel
of
like
like
though they're not going to want to let that become a reoccurring theme. They definitely put in the homework this time, and if they didn't, I think that's really bad. Um, I think Rival's going to take this 2-1. Honestly, I
ooh
really
two
don't
one.
think this is going to be a sweep. I do think the Sanguine match versus SK. I think the mood that Sanguine was in is they were already down a game. That match didn't matter, and honestly, playing Rival is better than playing Splice. Is it Splice that the SK
Yeah,
has
it's
to play?
Splice. Yeah, it's Splice.
Rival's worse than Splice. Just being honest, they are.
Oh yeah, that's true. I agree with that
So
100%.
honestly, paired with the fact that Sanguine has already showed so many strategies, they need to, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of them winning that set, whipping out something else they have, or reinforcing, suspicions people have about that team's, style, just to go against an even harder opponent first round? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
understand you have to be prepared to beat everybody, but I think Sanguine's a team that's definitely adapted. They would much rather play Splice in a best of 5 later on than
Yeah.
in a best of 3 first round. you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can look at that SK game and really
Well, I'm talking
dictate
about the
much off of
first
it.
time they played SK because
Oh,
they did
okay,
play
that's
SK
fair.
twice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I do think they got better. I think Hype Unit also got better. They lost Out Cold. Out Cold ended up getting swept by some other team, but then they ended
They
up
should
sweeping
have won.
Obey. You know what I
They
mean? They
should have
almost
won
beat
out against
Sanguine.
Alcohol and my hype through. But I mean, I guess
Well,
should have,
no,
could
I
have, would have.
understand, but like they completely
Yeah.
washed Obey. You know what I mean? They
Oh yeah.
they
Oh
didn't
for
wash
sure.
at Hype
They
SML, but
watched
they
Obey and
yeah
I mean, okay, hype SML
yeah
had the early game on them, but
yeah.
like that's
But
it.
like I mean, and what I'm saying is there was a definite improvement through those days,
Yeah.
and I think Sanguine is gonna follow that trend and has been following that trend. So that's why I really don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to see Sanguine win this set. But I do think Rival's gonna take it 2-1.
All right. So let's move on to the next game, which is Dignitas versus the Pittsburgh Knights. Uh, Knights have honestly looked better, and I think that they're going to come out stronger than
Mm-hmm.
people expect them to because now they've had even more time to practice with the Deathwalker mid and the Row solo.
Yep.
Um, but I just feel like Dignitas have been playing with the same roster all
Mm-hmm.
year. They're comfortable. They're finally looking like they're hitting a stride. I think that they take this set 2-1. I think it's a close set. I think it goes the distance. But
Yeah.
I feel like ultimately Dignitas comes out on top in this game.
Yep. For sure.
Yep.
Because this is a little bit tough. I think Dignitas is going to take this 2-0 solely for the fact that I think a lot of it's on variety, right? I mean, look what variety has done to
Oh,
people who are
variety to
slacking.
row. Yeah, that's a tough
Yeah.
matchup. Yeah.
Look, I mean,
Yeah.
the way I look at it is look what happened. This is no shot at Dimmy, but Dimmy, when they played, at that World Season 4, Dimmy was not on the same level as Variety.
Yeah.
And Dimmy was a seasoned solo laner. You know what I mean? He'd been playing forever.
Yeah, he had already won one world
One,
championship at
and
that
was
point.
about to win a
Yeah,
second
yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, he did. And but
And then
like
Variety
Variety was
decimated
the
him.
only reason why. Yeah, Variety was the only reason why Obey was competing,
Uh-huh.
and it was
Yeah.
you could just
And the
feel
way I
Variety
feel,
carrying the
yeah, the
games. It
way I
was
feel
kind of
is
crazy.
like, dude, Ro's gonna get destroyed if he's not on Yorm. That's the way I look at it. Because Yorm is like the safest, don't get soloed character in the game. But if he's not on Yorm and they're gonna ban Yorm, they're gonna get swept. That's the way I look at it. It's a harsh reality. I think they were better off trying to work things out with zeros. Yeah,
Hmm.
obviously I don't know what their situation was like, so I'm not gonna say that, full heartedly, but
Right.
I definitely don't think
I
there's any
actually
chance
feel
they
that
win
way
this set.
too. Like I understand the talk being playing with someone toxic just makes scrimming
No,
like
for
a
sure. But
fucking pain
I don't think Zeros
and
is like, you know what I mean? Because he was doing his all this stuff. He's doing it well. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like some crazy toxic thing. There
I
might have
don't
been some
know.
issues, but
I
I don't
You can
think, you
kind
know
of
what I
like
mean?
see his face sometimes and like I mean, obviously he
Yeah.
always looks like he's angry,
Oh no, he's
but
always,
like
yeah, yeah.
but like I don't know. He just seems like the type of person that would like yell a lot
That's
and
fair.
um I don't know if for them to have replaced him because of his attitude,
That's
it
true.
had to be bad. Um,
Yeah, that's a good point.
because he's a good player. He's really good. I think they should have just tried to like push through it and hope that like I don't know because
Yeah,
there wasn't too much time left. Like obviously, just suffer through it for a little bit longer because your chance of winning is better with him. I feel like
agreed.
personally, they
Hmm.
obviously didn't feel the same way, so that's on
Yeah,
them. But I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Like you're sticking your
Also,
coach.
Deathwalker being mid,
Yeah,
Herwind,
that's
and not even Herwind, Cuvo. Like it's just gonna be a mess, in my opinion. I think it's gonna be a mess. I think it's possible that they do something,
yeah.
but
I don't know. They've had a
no
lot
way.
more time to practice the role swaps,
Yeah,
so
I
we'll
just
see
don't
how
think
it
there's a
goes.
way they win.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Splice versus SK, and I think out of all four of these first matchups, this probably might be one of the best. Renegades United obviously going to be pretty good, but I think Splice takes this one 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0.
Yeah, I
It
agree. Yeah.
Um, Splice looks strong. I'm like a big Scream fanboy. Like when back in season 4, before they won the world championship, when everyone was saying, "Oh, Cubo Fred adapting," I was saying Cubo Fred adapting and Scream. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Scream is a very talented player.
Yep.
Um, as obviously Cyclone Spin, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is the best player in the world. You got a
Mm-hmm.
roar, one of the best supports right now, if not the best support in the world right now.
Yeah.
Um, and Solar Trolls meshing with the team really well. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's filling in his spot very well. And Venenu, never like the star player on the team, but he's always like there. He
Yeah.
always does his job, and I think that they're really strong. And
Hmm.
I think SK's look good, but like there's a reason why consistently they're right under the they're
Yeah.
always one step under those
Hmm.
top six teams.
That's
It's
true.
been that way all year, and it seems like they always convincingly beat those bottom three teams, and then occasionally take a game off one of the top six, but they never consistently are able to
Yeah.
beat those guys. And I think SK's really good, and I mean obviously they upset United last year at the
Hmm.
at Worlds and they made semifinals and they could. And like I think those players are talented and have the potential to beat Splice if Splice come out lacking on the day. But I don't expect a SK victory.
Hmm. Um, I think there is a little bit of conversation for the fact that SK's best player is Paul. I think that's pretty, you know,
Yeah, I think it's Paul or Sanford Soccer, but like I think Paul's been kind of lacking lately.
he
So
has, but
this whole
the
year
thing
to be
is,
honest.
the way I look at it is Paul definitely has the carry potential to win this set. And I don't want to take shots at this guy, but Veninu is definitely the worst player on Splice. He's still good, but he's definitely the worst player on Splice.
Yeah, I agree.
So if anything can happen, I think it's going to be there. And Sanford Soccer, again, he's not a lacking jungler. Scream's definitely better, but he's definitely not a lacking jungler. I think Neomon and Aurora play similarly, except Aurora just does it a little better. Um, Now, that being said, I do think Splice take this mostly just because of the fact that Cyclone's 40 times better than Zatman. That's just the honest truth, you know?
I agree.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean that's where it's really gonna fall flat. I think. I think
Yeah.
Paul has the potential to take a map off of them, but I don't think he can do everything alone.
I
And
just think
Villier's
that like
probably not gonna like get ahead of Solar Troll. They'll probably just stalemate. I don't think Villier's
yeah.
gonna feed, but
Like if I had to
yeah,
like break it down by matchup, I feel like Solar and Troll and Belair, like I feel like they're kind of like even lane wise, but I feel
yeah.
like Solar Troll plays with his team better than
I
Belair
mean,
plays with
yeah, for sure. I
SK.
mean, Splice
I
is
feel
gonna
like
enable him to do better, but yeah, no, I agree.
I feel like Scream is a step ahead of Stanford Soccer. I feel like Cyclone Spin is a mile ahead of Zapman. I feel like Aurora is a mile ahead of Nerima.
Uh huh.
I feel like Paul's a little bit better than Venenu, but like one person being better isn't. I don't know. It's not going to help them too much, especially when
Yeah.
Splice has the better team play.
Mhm.
Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to Renegades versus E United. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have like too much opinion on this matchup. Like I think Renegades is gonna win at 2-0. Like I think E
Yeah, I
United is
agree.
like the worst of the best, if that makes any sense. Like out of the top
Mhm.
six teams, I feel like they're one of the weaker ones, and I feel like I don't know. A lot of people don't agree with me when I say this. Like a lot of people will actually go out of their way to disagree with me. But I think Big Man Teams is like the weak link on E United. Um, that's
He
just my
hasn't
opinion,
looked
and I
great.
think
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that I think he's looked better as the year has progressed, and he's gotten more comfortable with the team. And I
Mhm.
feel like another like thing with United is Ice is either on or he's off, and it's just like either he's making no impact at all or he's making a ton of impact. And it's like, what
Yeah.
Ice are we gonna get on the day? I guess.
I don't think
If
it'll be
Ice
enough
is
anyways. Yeah.
I think if Ice is on in the day, then at best they take a
They have
game
a
off
chance.
Renegades here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
For sure. Yeah, there's
I think Benji's a frag machine. I think Benji could.
he's
Uh,
very good.
he's
Yeah.
better than Nika if you ask me. Um,
Oh, that's spicy, but maybe.
but
That's definitely
the
spicy.
I think across the board, I think Dardes is up there for best player in the world also. So like I got him and Cyclone Spin as the top two players right now. So I mean, yeah, I mean, Renegades are just nasty. The
Yeah.
whole team.
No, they won MSI for a reason. I don't think
Yeah.
they're as unstoppable as they used to be. That's why I don't think they're gonna win the overall thing, but they're
Wow,
gonna win
spoiler
this
alert.
set.
Come on,
Well, I
bro.
mean,
I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, I know, but I really
Yeah.
don't think. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I don't see United taking this one.
All right. So all we the teams we have moving forward
We've
are
got
Team
Rival
Rival.
versus Dig.
We all wow, our predictions were all the same for this round.
For
We
now,
got
yeah,
Team
I feel
Rival.
like it was pretty easy.
Yeah, Team Rival taking the first round.
Mm-hmm.
We got Team Rival, Dignitas, Splice, and Renegade. So that would make the
Yep. And these are
semifinal
best of
matchup.
fives.
Yes. which would be Rival versus Dignitas. Okay, I got I got Rival taking this one 3-2. This is
Ooh, I
gonna
don't know about
go.
that. I don't know
This
about
is gonna
that.
go. This is gonna go all 5 games either way, in my opinion.
Uh,
I think this is gonna go all 5 games. Um,
mm,
I
I don't
think.
know.
I think especially. I don't know, dude. I think that Ataraxia has not been a strong player this year. I think the
Agreed.
reason. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why Dignitas hasn't excelled. And I think Hurriwan can even have his bad games, but most of the time he
That's
does
fair.
fine. Um, I think Panda Cat and Arkill are gonna step up. And obviously you got Fine OK. So like here's my thing, right? Fine OK has been like consistently people are saying, oh, Fine OK, maybe the best solo laner in the world. So you got Fine OK who's not gonna be able to get bullied by Variety. Like this guy he's a frag
That's true.
machine. So like you got your
Yeah.
strongest point on Dignitas, and you got your what people would say is the strongest point on Rival. So this is gonna be like a heavy solo lane thing. And like when
Mm-hmm.
there's two like top solo laners, not too much is gonna go on in that lane. Um,
That's true.
I feel like, and like I said, I just feel like Arkill's better than Ataraxia, and I don't think that matchup's even close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Panda Cat is nasty, and Hurrywind is nasty, but I think Panda Cat is, I don't know,
Yeah,
my
it's a
personal
little
opinion,
bit. It's probably a
I
little
think
bit of
Panda
a
Cat is
salt
better.
match too. I mean, Arkle being on Dignitas for so long, not being there
Mhm.
anymore. I don't know what that was like for them, you know, but
Yeah,
I think
I
there's definitely
think
something to look at
we're,
that.
yeah, I think if Dignitas is gonna win this set, it's gonna have to be Cuvo Fred. It's gonna have to be on the back of
Hmm.
Cuvo Fred. Um,
For sure.
I feel like that's the only place where Dignitas has like a huge advantage is in the jungle.
Hmm.
Um,
Agreed. Yeah.
and that could very much be the case, and that's why I think this goes 5 games either way because I mean both Rival has like really good team play. Dignitas has really good team play as well with high individual like variety, and Cubo Fred could very well take over a game.
Hmm.
Um, but I think this goes all 5 games, and Rival come out on top 3-2.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say Dig 3-1s this pretty easily. I mean, obviously they're losing a game, so it's not that easy. But dude, I
Okay.
don't know. I just don't. Captain Twig versus Cuvo. I don't think I've ever been impressed by how Captain Twig has played. Honestly, like it sounds kind of harsh, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
Cuvo
but I don't know. I've
Cuvo has a
never
lot
been
of pressure on
impressed
him
with
this
how
set.
Trix Tank plays, if I'm going
That's
to be
true.
honest.
Cuvo has a lot of pressure on him this set because even if Ataraxian knows how to play on the back foot in the sense of he's just gonna play like Jing Wei or some shit and play back whatever. He won't
Hmm.
have pressure by any means, but he's done this before. He had to do it versus Emilito. He had to do it versus Barracuda. You know what I mean? Like so he knows how to play on the back foot. I'm not really too worried about him like getting solid and feeding.
That's fair. I could agree with that. Like, I don't think Ataraxia will feed. I think that this is a very support heavy meta, and if you ask me, Polar Bear Mike is the better of the two supports. And
Hmm.
I mean and I think that Akio Fred is the better jungler. Um,
Yeah, I think Cuvo can be held to the standard that's expected of him.
mhm.
Just in the same way, I think if Cuvo can play solo and get Final K behind or play duo and get Ataraxia ahead, I would like to see him play solo.
Mhm.
If Variety's ahead, he's going to carry the game. Not to mention, you know what I mean? Like Cuvo's got characters that I think, especially in obviously it's a best of five. If he's playing you know like his Kali or something, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see things being good for
Yeah.
for uh
Okay. I think
those
you're
guys.
focusing a little bit too much on like individual play. Like we're
That's
and
true.
me too. We're talking a lot about individuals and not like them
Mm-hmm.
as a unit. I just feel like
That's fair.
Rival has like the better team play. Like the way Captain Twig plays is more with his team than Kivo Fred. But I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a good point. I really think that Cubo and Variety can honestly carry games. That's why I'm bringing it up so much, and I
Yeah,
think that
that's
they
true.
will if they have to.
All
Which
right.
I mean, Dignitas has thrown at Lin a lot, but well, I don't know because that's always been a team thing. So it's kind of hard to tell. if that happens again, then well, obviously they're not going to win. But I hope they break it this time because they have two new players. So I mean, we'll have to see with that.
Yeah. I mean, the tilt factor had to be an issue on that last team because we know Zero's got the attitude issue. So I imagine like he would be a part of that, maybe like with the tilt factor.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
maybe that'll
true.
be
That's a good
better this
point.
time around.
That's definitely a possibility.
But Splice versus Renegades. Ooh, the MSI rematch. All right, so Renegades got the
Oh,
better of
yeah.
Splice, not only in the MSI, but they're set after the MSI. But I
Yep.
will say that the Splice Renegades matchup after MSI, like the regular
Mm-hmm.
season game, looked a lot better from Splice, and that was like I think Splice's first game back.
Yeah.
And they're also their first set with Solar Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had the whole split to practice with Solar Patrol, and Solar Patrols look great. And I actually
Yeah.
got, I mean, a lot of people are not going to agree with this one, but I actually got Splice taking this 3-2,
Mm-hmm.
upsetting Renegades and going on to the grand finals. There's not too much I
Yeah.
have to say on that, except for, like, I just feel like Roar and Cyclospin and Cyclospin is going to, you know, run the
Yeah.
clinic like he always does, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a tough set either way because Dardas is nasty. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like I don't
Jeez.
have too much to say on it because we've already seen a
This is
lot
a
of it. We
tough
kind of know how
one,
it goes.
honestly. Like, I don't. I mean, okay, Splice has definitely looked better since MSI, without a doubt. But I think a lot of it has is Renegades being looking worse. But to be
I would
fair,
agree.
they
I think
weren't
people are
good.
figuring out their meta
They
finally.
weren't. I mean, they were good, but they were not. Nobody expected them to win MSI, and then all of a sudden they did something and they didn't lose a match, right?
Yeah.
So it's very possible they're just holding out again. You know what I mean? Just like they did last
Yeah.
time, or maybe they just work really well in those type of environments, which is also possible. Um, Now, I think that Renegades is going to take this just off of that, but I don't think I think it's going to be 5 games without a doubt. Um, and I just think a lot of that's just going to be like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. We just need to see more out of Dardas because he really hasn't been doing a whole lot recently. But I know he can. I know Iraffer can do a lot as well. I haven't been seeing a lot out of anybody on that team right now. That's kind of the problem from the
Hmm.
recent sets. Like they almost lost to Space Station, which is a really bad look. Um,
Yeah. That's really
but I
bad.
still think that they're gonna take it 3-2.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. They can definitely take it 3-2. It's not going to be easy by any means. I don't see any of those games being under like 35 minutes, but I do think they'll take it at the end of the day.
All right. So moving on to the finals, I kind of don't want to like go because we've already went into the deep with all of these teams. So
Yeah.
like for the finals, you're just gonna say like the two people you have in there, who you
Mm-hmm.
think's winning, and who you think's gonna be MVP,
Okay.
and we'll just end the predictions on that.
You
My
want me to start?
two
Okay. Yeah,
finals,
you got
yeah,
it.
my two finals teams would be Rival versus Splice, and I have Splice winning 3-1, and the
Okay.
MVP being Cyclone Spin. Which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of obvious. If there's going to be an MVP on Splice, it's going to be Cyclone
Yeah,
Spin.
for sure.
And yeah, that's it. What about yours?
Okay, so, well, what did I say? I said Dignitas versus Renegades. I think Dig's
Mm-hmm.
gonna take it 3-2. I think Cubo's gonna be the MVP. I'm putting a lot on Cubo, but I know he can do it, and that's why I'm putting a lot on him. If it's not Cubo, it's gonna be Variety. I really think it's gonna be one of them. I don't see anybody else on that team carrying. I think obviously they're all good enough too, but I just don't see anyone else doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the prediction, folks. So yeah, I know we said we were gonna have guests on this, and we still are planning on have guests in this, but it was like I don't know, there was like so much we missed between these 3 months and we
Yeah.
like just
And
kind of
also,
want
we
to do
said we'd do it
prediction.
bi-weekly. That was
Yeah,
rough. Um,
yeah, about that.
Look, the thing on that, it's tough because it's like you always want to have good ideas, and it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. I mean, that's not a lot of it's just we were lazy, but it's also like, is this like, because we want all of the videos to be meaningful, right? So,
Mhm.
does the world's predictions share, the same amount of interest as like, you know, some some SCL team, and like, is it like how relevant really are the topics? You know what I mean? So that's just something
Yeah,
that like
I don't know. I feel like
we gotta
the
kind of find.
inbound episode was going to be really
No, no,
good,
for sure that
but
definitely would have been cool,
yeah,
but just like going forward, because if we want to do this bi-weekly, which we definitely can, if we just
I,
like
I
discipline a
well,
bit
right
more.
now that's kind of what I was going to touch on. I was going to
Hmm.
like kind of say that like this is Worlds, and then after Worlds, like there's this long awkward
It
break.
is, yeah.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe like when they announce the news of what's happening with the SCL, maybe we
I
have an
mean, yeah,
episode
we
like
can talk about like
um
what we want to see, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like, there's definitely
yeah.
topics, and if people give
We'll
us
try to have
topics,
we'll
yeah,
try to have at least one episode during the off season, but like don't expect this to be bi-weekly when we're gonna have literally zero stuff to
content
talk
to go
about.
over, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
like when the league kind of comes back to full swing, we can definitely talk about stuff more and more easily. But like, if there's any topics anybody wants us, to go over, just DM us. We can also like do a quick recap in a few weeks about like our video a few months ago we made about predictions for SEL and kind of like how that aged, and if we're gonna see anything emerging out of that and stuff like that. We can always look at that stuff and kind of review that, and even do a quick recap about this worlds and all that. So,
oh yeah, for
there's a
sure.
lot to go over.
Um, I want to thank you guys for over 200 views on the last
Mm-hmm.
Snake Season podcast and 21 likes with zero
No
dislikes.
dislikes, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the feedback as well. This video should have timestamps below. Someone told me that I should add timestamps, which I don't know why I didn't in the first place, but they will be on this video. They should be anyway. And yeah, just thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.